Tonight on the Local Live, we remember Sal's Pizza owner Salvatore DeRose Jr., who passed away suddenly last weekend. An arrest is made in the case of the man found shot on I-95. Details coming up. Learn more about the Sound Shore Alliance. A hearing to show the draft master plan for Westchester County Airport is tonight. More information coming up. Stay tuned for highlights from LMC TV's Tiki Party. And if you want to know what cool summer events are coming up, we've got all the details. And stay tuned for our live roundtable with Scott Rosenberg, the owner of Ralph's Italian Ices. Good evening. It's Thursday, July 27th. I'm Mike Witch. Welcome to the Local Live. The owner of Sal's Pizza in Mamaroneck, Salvatore DeRose Jr., passed away suddenly at the age of 49 this past Saturday. He's survived by his wife, Maria DeRose, his children Alexandra, Nicole, Salvatore III, and Christina DeRose, and other close family members. Maria DeRose spoke on behalf of herself and the family during this hard time, saying the DeRose family is so grateful for the overwhelming outreach and support of the community. If you'd like to pay your respects to the family, there will be a funeral mass tomorrow at 11 a.m., Church of the Resurrection on Boston Post Road in Rye. State police have arrested a Bronx resident for the shooting of a man found on the side of the road on I-95 near the Mamaroneck exit last week. 55-year-old Jamil Fields was charged with second-degree attempted murder and first-degree assault of 24-year-old Bronx native Mohammed Cease. He's being held at Westchester County Jail without bail. Police found the victim after responding to a report of a crash on the highway. It was discovered that the U-Haul had swerved and hit a maroon Honda while traveling northbound. The investigation is still open. If you've got any information, please call the police. Their phone number is 914-769-2600. Laura Bott from the Bott Shop and Vanessa Ritter from the School of Rock have recently created the Sound Shore Business Alliance as an attempt to unite different community groups and make community events and information easier to find. The group had their first meeting last Tuesday night.
This is a hybrid group. Basically, it's bringing together the community. So you have the PTA, the STEM Alliance, people like that, alongside the Chamber of Commerce, the Board of Trustees, networking groups, all these types of people that are already actively doing things and just kind of bringing them all together into one place as a new resource. So for those that want to get involved and find out more information, you can check out our Facebook page at Soundshore CBA, and all on Instagram as well as Soundshore CBA. And you'll find a lot of information about upcoming events in the local area, including our Meet the Owner series.
An important public hearing is taking place tonight to discuss the Westchester County Airport's draft master plan. The hearing will include a presentation on the proposed plans and a time for public comment. Tune in next week for an update on this hearing. According to the Mamaroneck Review, Mamaroneck Village Deputy Mayor Louis Santoro is pushing for a taxpayer-funded attorney to fight an ethics complaint. This is the second time Santoro is asking the village to pay for a personal attorney. Last year, the village paid when Santoro defended himself against a lawsuit brought by Mayor Rosenblum. That was over the trustees' decision to remove the mayor's authority to name members of certain village boards. Now the review reports that Santoro is again hiring a personal attorney, this time to defend against a complaint that he did not recuse himself from certain deliberations at a public meeting back in February. It's not certain that the village will pay again for that personal attorney since the practice is still being discussed by the village board. An ethics board representative says that it has not yet taken up the complaint against Santoro. Looking for something to do this weekend? You won't want to miss out on these fun events. The Mamaroneck Chamber of Commerce is hosting a sunset cruise leaving Harbor Island tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. The cost is $125. You must pay in advance and you must get your ticket online at the website mamaroneckchamberofcommerce.org. Saturday night, you can enjoy the sounds of 3D Ritmo da Vida, a blend of Latin, tropical, and soul that should have you dancing all around the park. This free event will begin at 7. And rounding out the weekend will be Sway, a New York rock band that will be making their debut at Memorial Park at 7 as part of the town's free outdoor Concerts in the Park series. Within the media, here's Monique John.
One man was sent to the hospital after his car slammed into a gas pump at a mobile station in Mamaroneck. It happened Friday near exit 25 on the Hutchinson River Parkway. It's unknown how badly the driver was hurt, but the car and the pump were wrecked. The accident did not cause a fire. The gas station was briefly closed while police investigated the scene. Find out more at the Daily Voice. Police say a Mamaroneck woman was one half of the couple who burglarized a jewelry store in Dutchess County. 27-year-old Casey Owen and 29-year-old Rocco Kardashia of Poughkeepsie allegedly stole $9,000 worth of jewelry from a store in Wappinger last October. They were charged with grand larceny, burglary, and criminal mischief. Owen and Kardashia were arraigned and sent to county jail with over a total of $20,000 bond. The two are due back in court next Thursday. You can read more about this story at LoHUD. A local historian says a Native American tribe resided in Larchmont before European settlers came in the 1600s. During a lecture at the Larchmont Library, David Osborne said the Lenni Lenape tribe lived in small huts called wigwams throughout the lower Hudson Valley. Many of them died off from diseases brought by the British and migrated west. Today, the Lenni Lenape still live in Wisconsin, Massachusetts, and Canada as an independent Native American nation. Learn more at the Mamaroneck Review. Annie is back on the Westchester Broadway Theater stage. Set in New York City during the Great Depression, the classic production follows little orphan Annie's quest to find her parents after being abandoned on a doorstep. Peyton Fishman of Irvington and Kaylin Hedges of Valley Cottage are splitting the starring role. The show is directed and choreographed by Mary Jane Houdina. The show runs through Sunday, September 10th. For tickets, go to BroadwayTheater.com. And a Mamaroneck teenager is one of this year's National Merit Scholarship winners. Amber G. Yang, a recent graduate of Rhinebeck High School, won $2,500 in college scholarship money. Yang is one of more than 7,500 students across the country that are getting funded towards their undergraduate degrees. For more info, go to patch.com. If you can find it online, you can find it in the media. I'm Monique John.
Did you know that if you missed the last government meeting, you can watch it on our website? Just go to lmctv.org, click on videos, then click on municipal meetings, scroll down to find the meeting you want, or use the search function in the upper right corner and type in the name or date of the meeting. Then watch. You can see the full agenda and jump to a specific agenda item. It's all a click away at lmctv.org.
Good evening. If you've never heard of Ralph's famous Italian ices and ice cream, well, you don't live in the neighborhood. And we're pleased to have the owner of Ralph's here with us tonight. Scott Rosenberg was supposed to be with us last week, but we're happy that you were able to reschedule it.
Thank you.
And welcome to LMC TV and welcome to the Local Live.
Thank you.
So your store has been in the middle of a controversy pretty much for a year now since you've been open in Mamaroneck. And it looks like you have a good clientele, but right now you're closed.
Yeah.
Are you going to reopen?
That's the plan.
Are you considering any legal action against any parties?
I think it's well deserved and it's definitely in the works.
Mm-hmm. So we invited you here tonight to have your say, literally, and also we invite the audience watching to, if they have a question or a comment they want to make to you, they can call us and email or send a tweet. The information for them to contact us is at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
So first off, is there something you want to say to the people who are watching?
Well, I appreciate everyone who's shown the support. I hope you continue the support to zoning board meeting. We're looking forward to having a lot of people there and show the support. You know, I think it's ridiculous what happened. I think they're wrong in the decision and they're wrong the way they went about it. And we were definitely treated unfairly. And, you know, it doesn't look good for people trying to open a business in Mamaroneck because look what happens.
So the friendly village is not friendly?
Not friendly.
No.
Not to me.
No.
Not to ice cream either.
Not to ice cream?
Yeah, apparently people don't like ice cream. It's an ice cream store.
I don't know about that. If you look
don't
at
know.
me, I love ice cream.
Yeah, not the neighbors.
And I must, I told you earlier, and I want to tell the audience that I am actually one of your neighbors. I live in the building that overlooks your site. And I think that I also had my name on a petition, an early petition. But at that point, well, whatever it was. So, but tonight I'm here as a journalist.
But it doesn't bother you. The
Doesn't
store does
bother
not
me.
bother you in that building.
Does not bother me in that building. I can't say about other people who have
Friends and
other
personal
exposures,
connections to the
windows
neighbors.
looking out, but my windows don't overlook your area, and I have no personal problem with that.
Okay.
Since we had this scheduled last week, several people wrote in. Most of them made comments, and all of them, as I read here, were in favor of the CBA's decision and in favor of the closing of the store. And they cited well, you heard about it. They were complaining about the noise and dangerous traffic situations for pedestrians, cars in the neighborhood blocking driveways and things like that.
I don't think anything has been
what's your
proven.
response to any of that?
No noise has ever been proven. You know, we've had the police there numerous times. We never had a violation for noise. No one has ever been cited for any violations of noise. We say it's dangerous. The parking lot is dangerous. Well, if the village let us stripe the parking lot in the beginning like we wanted to, then we would not have had the problems we would have had. People would have known where to park, and we would have had organization like we've asked a year and a half ago, but they couldn't come to any decision. You know, another mistake that the village made. And apparently they're all to like make all these mistakes, and it's at my expense, and it's wrong. There is no noise. The people getting ice cream. We put a seating area on the opposite side of the residence on Boston Post Road to keep them away. They're eating ice cream. It's not a disco. It's not a club. It's not a bar. You know, no one's, you know, hanging out and making rowdy noises, etc. You know, a lot of it was definitely exaggerated by the neighbors because they don't want anything in the building, and they've expressed that numerous times. They want it empty. And apparently, you know, with all the corruption in this village, that they're able to pull strings with their personal ties and keep it empty.
Well, the neighbors, as they say to us, that they exercised their due diligence and they went before the various boards, I guess ultimately the Zoning Board of Appeals, and they showed them videos and they showed photographs, and the zoning board made a decision that apparently you were operating with the wrong permit, or they denied you a permit.
They gave me the wrong permit according to them. They're now calling me fast food. We do zero cooking. How we're fast food, I still don't know. I believe we're takeout. I think takeout, you know, restaurant or confectionery would be we're a sweet shop doing ice cream and ice cream only. I think that's a better classification. Their code is so vague and gray is what they call it, where they don't even know themselves what it is. And they made the wrong determination. The zoning board found that out. They asked me to go for a special permit. We went for the special permit. We did everything they've asked us to do. You know, bring it inside. You know, stripe the parking lot. Put a parking lot attendant. Change the hours. You know, we put more employees on to keep it, you know, the line moving faster.
And
Bollards up.
also, you dressed up the outside of the building?
Yeah, the ARB asked me to do the whole outside of the building versus my little section of the building, which I agreed to do, you know, for the neighborhood.
You only occupy a portion of that building, right? And
Half.
you rent that.
Right.
And is that other half, is that a opportunity for you to open another business or for somebody else?
It was an opportunity for anybody to open a business, myself or anybody, but now with the zoning board and all this commotion, now they wanted us to take the whole building, so there was no other occupant, and bring people inside that part, and then we would, you know, control the property, you know, as they want. This way they know that no other use can come and conflict with the parking.
So a minute ago you used the word corruption, pretty strong.
You don't see it?
I'm asking you. You see corruption in the village.
They ask us to do certain things. They've changed the board a bunch of times. Okay, they take the mayor's powers away after they first elect him, and then they take his powers away so he can't appoint things. Now we have the traffic commission, who was told by the zoning board we should go to the traffic commission and get their feedback. We did that, and in the middle of the meeting, with my attorneys present, you were told not to get involved. That was what the wonderful neighbors had told the traffic commission. You were told not to get involved. Who were they told by? They said they admitted themselves they were told not to get involved.
This is the traffic commission.
Correct. So if they were told not to get involved, who told them not to get involved? It wasn't me. You know, the zoning board said, did we get the feedback from the traffic commission? We said at that time, no. So we went to the traffic commission. And then we were told not to get involved.
When you first came to Mamaroneck, was it because of it was a good business location, or did you hear from any of the local business people or the mayor, the trustees, anybody like that?
I didn't meet any of the trustees or the mayor at the time. I had a friend who was a police officer here, and it was a nice spot, and it was called the Friendly Village. And when we came to the village, we went to the building department and the planning department to say, we want to open up a place called Ralph's Italian Ices.
Now, you've got other franchises.
Correct.
Well, it's a franchise operation, right? And you've got other similar businesses, ice cream places, so you know the routine roughly.
We showed them pictures of one of my locations that's a window service Ralph's Italian Ice store.
Right.
So we sell Italian ices through a window, just like we do in Mamaroneck. We asked them before I signed a lease and before I said any permits, are we allowed to do this in this space? They looked through their codes. They came to a decision together. Yes, you're allowed to do this.
This was the building department?
And the planning department,
Okay.
both together, with my local architect, who I hired on purpose because I didn't know the laws. So I hired a local architect on purpose, and we went to the village on purpose to find out, can we do this in this space? And we're Ralph's Italian Ices. I want to stress that because all we sell is Italian ices. Sure. How do we make this mistake? You know, we're not selling shoes, we're not selling cars, it's Italian ices.
And you showed them pictures and gave them a description of what it would look like based on the other stores that you have.
And we asked them
and
specifically.
they gave you a permit.
Specifically, can we do window service? They said Walters does window service. There's nothing in the code. They said that we'll prohibit it. And we spent all this money to open up a store. We've donated to all the schools and any charity that came by, the local baseball teams, etc. And we've done everything we can for the community.
You've employed lots of
yes,
young kids.
And we got
too.
slapped in the face by the village, or the zoning board, I should say.
Yeah. What was the health department said you had a permit that had expired, I think, earlier this year?
To be honest?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. With all the commotion going on here, getting the White Plains store open, etc., I forgot to renew the permit. It's a $400 permit. I could have easily given them the $400.
Yeah.
But the village didn't close me up on their own because they couldn't. So they went to the health department, and the health department wouldn't renew my permit because the village asked them not to because of, you know, we don't have a CO. So
do you suspect that, or do you?
No, I was told that. That's true. I was told that. Not only did I hear it, some other people heard it too. So, yeah.
So this is a conspiracy from your point of view.
The village has some issues with an ice cream store, and it has. I don't know what it has to do with Carvel, but it's came up to many times that Carvel has affiliations with somebody who caused all the commotion.
I just wanted to ask you, well, let me go through some of the emails that we got. Okay, we've got a phone call, but that's going to take a second. I've got one here that says, Dear Local Live, I hear that Ralph's is getting the same complaints about its dangerous parking lot at the new store in North Castle. How do you respond to that?
Well, the North Castle spot is still under construction, which is one. And two, they've asked us to put a parking lot attendant to keep the middle lane clear, which we've done, and we have no problems. You know, I talk to the police quite often there, and, you know, everything's fine.
Obviously, with a lot of cars coming in and pedestrians coming in, there are issues, and safety is one of them, and you're dealing with it in North Castle. So this,
if you have a parking lot attendant monitoring the parking lot,
right,
like we did in Mamaroneck, mind you, there has never been an accident in Mamaroneck or North Castle, White Plains.
On your property.
Right.
Yeah.
Or in front.
Right.
So if there's no accidents, how dangerous is it? We've been there a year and a half with 0 accidents.
Did you have the attendant and the spacing of the car spaces and all the changes that you made? Did you make them gradually through the year as you heard what this board wanted and what that board wanted, or was it all in place in the beginning?
They wouldn't let us do it. They wouldn't let us do anything. Again, we've asked them to do it. We've given them plans. We never even got a response on any of the plans.
All right, we have got a phone call. Caller, you're on Local Live. Our guest is Scott Rosenberg, who's the owner of Ralph's Italian Ices and Ice Cream. What's your question?
I don't have a question. I just want to make a statement. My name is Andrea Jewell, and I was calling because we are considered the friendly village of Mamaroneck. I've lived here my whole life. How are we going to allow a business to come in and give him the proper permits to open, to run for a year, and then take everything back and say he's got to do this and he's got to change this, and now they won't even give him the permits to keep running his business, but yet he's invested thousands of dollars, and now all these kids are out of work for the summer.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Scott, I imagine you're in agreement with that.
Who's not in agreement with that? I mean, are you? I mean, it's $500,000. Could you lose $500,000 and maintain your life? Is your house going to be okay losing $500,000?
What does it take to open a business in Mamaroneck? There are several boards, aren't there? And permits and requirements and codes. A lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah, a lot of inspections. A lot of phone calls that are made. Say, can you do this? Can you do this? The neighbors complained about this. Can you do this? And I've always said yes and sure. And I've done it immediately. And you can speak to the building department. They'll let you know that everything they've asked me to do, I've done. The zoning board, the planning board, anything they've asked of me, I've done.
We've got a question that came in, and they're showing it to me on the prompter, which is why I'm looking at the audience now. The question is, why did you stay open after the Zoning Board of Appeals ordered you to close? Did you for a few
we
days
stayed up
or so?
an extra day, yeah. Why? Why not?
Well, the order was to close.
And you know what? And the support for us, said, it otherwise.
The popular support.
The popular support.
Yeah.
We've contacted the village prior to that, asking for a special meeting or anything else, and we still haven't even heard back to this day, for the zoning board.
So when you did close, was it the Board of Health?
Yeah, because the village had the Board of Health do it because, for whatever reasons, they couldn't.
Okay. We have another email that came in, or a tweet, I'm not sure, but it said, it says, do you understand that this, I guess it means the staying open for however long a time it was after the ZBA said close, that this may make it seem as if you don't care about local laws?
Okay. Do they care about local businessmen the way they treated me?
So it's a kind of tit for tat thing.
I have my life invested in this. They're worried about them. They're not worried about me. I've tried to work with them, everybody. Coming down to the neighbors, I've met the neighbors with my attorney present because they fabricate things, and asked them whatever they need to do, whatever I could do for them to not let it go this far, I would do, whether it's planting stuff on their properties, shielding them on my property, anything I could have done, I offered to do. Okay. And it all went, on deaf ears.
Yeah. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the Local Live. Our guest, Scott Rosenberg of Ralph's Italian Ices and Ice Cream. What's your question or comment?
Hi. I don't have a question. It's more of a comment where the residents of Mamaroneck that are complaining about the traffic and how it's unsafe of that location, did they notice how it is safe and how many stop signs there are at that location and crossing what crosswalks there are? Because out of all the locations and the areas of the village of Mamaroneck, that location is the most safest. So the little bit of complaints that are coming from the small amount of residents should really take a look and see that's the safest area of that village. So they're making complaints of an ice cream store. Smiles on kids' faces of ice cream. Why?
Okay. Again,
That's an easy one.
yeah.
Someone got killed there 30 years ago by a drunk driver without stop signs being present. 30 years ago. Obviously, the village and DOT have put those stop signs and other things, measures in place to prevent things. Aside from drunk driving, it's probably not something we should be doing ever. I mean, that's why it's a law. Okay? She makes a valid point. There's a four-way stop sign at that thing. No one's flying past that stop sign or whatever, or that intersection because they can't. And there's always a cop sitting on the corner. Okay? So, talk about safety. Now, you live there?
I live there, and I have to say the way that the streets are constructed. I mean, Boston Post Road is busy, and also there's a sort of a hill that if you're crossing Boston Post Road in a certain direction, you can't see the traffic coming from the left.
I'm glad that you said that, because
that presents a bit of a challenge.
But you live there, is my point. So what about the school at the top of the hill? Bellows, I believe it's called? Have you?
Daniel Warren.
Daniel Warren, okay. Have you ever seen the traffic taking up 2 lanes and double and triple parking? We should close the school.
Yeah.
Because they're lining up, blocking Boston Post Road. And I've noticed there's been accidents because people are double and triple parked trying to pick up their kids because there's not enough room in the school. So we should close the school. And the other school up the other way, what's the other one? On Keeler Avenue?
That would be either be in the high school?
No, the middle school or the elementary school.
Well, that could be Bellows.
That might be Bellows. Okay. Have you ever seen the traffic line up in front of that one?
No, I haven't.
And Keeler Avenue and the stop sign and everything else in front of all these people's house that are so worried about traffic and safety? And one more thing that's very interesting, because you brought something up. You asked me, have I done the striping of the parking lot or any safety measures? Do you know that the night I striped the parking lot, phone calls were made to the village. We made it safer as from the recommendation of the chairman of the zoning board, the second to last meeting. And they called and had the village issue me a summons or an order to remedy to take the lines away because they didn't want to make it safer. So
wasn't that because are you required to have a permit before you stripe?
Well, they tried to get me on a violation of a site plan, but we don't have a site plan, so there's no violation, so they didn't issue one. So they couldn't give me a violation because there was no site plan, because the neighbors kept getting in the way of us getting the proper site plan to make everything perfectly safe for everybody.
All right, we have another call. Yeah. Caller, you're on the local live. Our guest, Scott Rosenberg. What's your comment or question?
Well, actually, I have a comment.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I went to see the store when I heard it was closing because I love ice cream.
Yes.
And I looked to me like everything was well orderly. They had a guy directing the parking. It was quiet. There were young people enjoying ice cream in at tables with umbrellas facing the post road. And I can't imagine why anybody. This is a destination to come in Mamaroneck. It was well beloved by everybody who ever went there. And I don't see what the problem is. Maybe there's a few people in the neighborhood that are upset because suddenly there's a change. But if you put it to a vote, I think everybody who ever went there would say, he should be building up.
Thank you.
Caller, thank you for your comment. Another person who doesn't understand what the problem is and feels that it's just a few people who are complaining, and they somehow got to the zoning board of appeals.
Well, they got you to sign a petition, and you didn't even really know what was going on. You were just being neighborly, you said. You said you don't have a problem with it, but yet your name is on a petition. They've gotten all their family and friends and neighbors, whoever, just to sign a petition to present to the board because they needed a certain amount of signatures to get what they need to get, and this is how it's happened. So, am I mad at you or blaming you? No, but you were being neighborly, like you said before. But that's what they did. Yeah. They parade their family and friends in front of everything. You live in an apartment building. You know, how many stories high across a major intersection with tractor trailers coming down, and they have air conditioners in every single one of their windows. So how, with those big air conditioners going off all day long, can they hear my patrons who are eating ice cream? I mean, licking an ice cream cone is not that loud. Come on. Come on.
I agree with you. We had another comment that came in about suggestions that you relocate, and are you thinking about that?
Tell the village to pay for it. What?
So you're...
Can you lose $500,000?
No.
Okay, well, I can't either. You know, I can't either. I mean, they love to say how much money I have. I don't know how they know how much money I have or don't have, but They love to tell everybody how much money I have. He could just pick up and go. You know, there's a lot of plumbing, a lot of electric, a lot of planning. There's a lot of stuff involved in this. Okay, that storefront was $50,000 just for the storefront. That now is garbage because they don't want people in the front, and I have to bring people in. I was willing to bring people in and do what I had to do to save the business. Now you close me in smack middle of the season, July. You didn't let me finish the season. You didn't give me any time. You put the employees right out to work, whatever it is. These kids are saving for cars and doing things for school and stuff. There are so many other things that these kids could be doing bad in this town, or customers, employees, etc. Right? I talk to the police. Okay? The fact that they're there, sitting at the tables, away from the houses. They're away from the houses. We direct them away from the houses. Having an ice cream cone hanging out. There is nothing wrong with it. What more American is having an ice cream? And you're the friendly village? Okay.
So as far as relocation, that's not in your plan?
No, I don't plan to give up. I don't think I did. Well, I know I didn't do anything wrong because I didn't do anything wrong. I think they've pulled every string that they possibly can pull. And you say, why corrupt? Why corruption? I don't know. I mean, why did they need the health department to do their dirty work?
Are you in any way right now friendly with the mayor or the?
I have no issues with the mayor at all.
No.
I have no issues with the assistant mayor, deputy mayor. I believe you call him.
We heard some speculation that the original permit was either rushed or encouraged because there was a real interest in getting a business in that vacant spot.
I don't think anything was rushed. It took me a couple weeks to get the permit. I think that's standard. I put a permit in recently, and I'm waiting a couple weeks. I haven't heard nothing. I have a feeling that's being stalled for reasons too. With other things that I think. The mayor, I didn't know the mayor until I opened the door and he came for an ice cream cone and introduced himself. I had no idea who he was. I think,
Rosenblum, yes.
Yeah, I think he's a nice guy. I met him at Sedona, shook my hand, hi. Again.
Yes, he's very encouraging about local businesses.
Yeah, but he wants businesses to come and they want businesses to go.
They meaning?
The residents of the area. You guys need to understand, this is not Shore Acres, where it's private. They're on Keeler Avenue, 127, which is a state road, and Boston Post Road. These are not private, community. It's not a private community.
No, people are in houses that are obviously adjacent to a commercial zone.
And they pay less money for those houses, and they pay less taxes for those houses, and there are reasons for that. If you want to be exclusive and private, you need to move somewhere else. I'm not one to tell you that what you should or shouldn't do. A lot of people can't afford certain things, but if you're buying a house next to a commercial lot that is a known gas station and a known commercial property, then you know what? Something's going to come. And I'm being punished because it's busy. That's what it is.
Okay. We have actually run out of time.
Okay.
Although I think the comments that we heard were first time that I heard people who were commenting in favor of your establishment and critical of the village for having closed it. One of the services that LMC does, we have cameras at most of these meetings, at trustee meetings and the Zoning Board of Appeals. So if people wanted to know or see the whole story of all the hearings you've been to and the presentations you've made and what the neighbors have said, etc., they can go to lmctv.org and they can find all of these meetings and they can see your presentations and the neighbors' presentations and the deliberations of the various boards.
Only thing I want to say to you right now, you said something earlier, that the neighbors showed clips and stuff of certain days. If I followed you around for a month and you driving, I can find clips of you doing something stupid. You can find them of me doing something stupid. We can find the worst part of the month for you, whatever you're doing at some point, and that's what they did. They took the worst points, the worst few minutes of each time, and that's what they presented. Were they smart for that? I'm sure they were. The board fell for it. Okay? But, the board should have came down and done their own due diligence. One of the board members was there the night before they shut me down, and she was there with her family. There was 6 parking spaces open. There was no issue. Why wasn't that addressed, at the meeting? I don't understand.
This Thursday this week, or next week rather, you are going to come to some decision about future plans?
Next week, myself and my attorneys we will have a plan formulated, and yes.
Well, if we can possibly get you on camera that day and you can
Not shy.
tell our viewers and our neighbors what's going on, that would be important. And we hope you'll come back.
Yes, I'm not shy and I'm not going away. The fight's not even close to being over.
Scott, thank you so much
Thank you.
again.
You got it.
And folks, stay tuned. There's more of the Local Live coming up right now.
Thank you.
Have you been looking for a way to get your YouTube project off the ground? Well, look no further. Down here at LMC TV, we have the tools to bring your ideas to life. With the magic of green screen, you can go anywhere. If you're into current events, politics, or entertainment, sounds like you could create your own news channel. And this is the perfect spot for you. We have access to numerous pre-made news sets with customizable options. So come share what you think is important to your audience. Or if you want to talk about things that you love, like video games, then this is your GameStop. Give your personal review, share your tricks and cheats, or boast your achievements. Whatever you want to share with your fellow gamers. Hungry for more? Come teach us how to create some tasty treats, share kitchen hacks, or easy meals. Be your own Chef Boyar YouTube. Into creating but not cooking? This is your DIY destination. Tell the world how you create fun things from scratch. Come on down and start recording. The sky's the limit down here at LMC. If you want to make your very own YouTube show, come down Tuesdays or Fridays between 4 and 6. You must reserve your time in advance and bring your own script, JPEGs, and videos on a USB with you. Go to lmctv.org for more information.
Last weekend's Tiki Party on the beach at Harbor Island was fun for everybody. LMC TV co-hosted the party with the Mamaroneck Village Recreation Department. Our thanks to Molly Spillane's Pub and to Orange Bank and Trust for sponsoring the event. Reporter Marcella Milder has the story.
Aloha and welcome to the second annual Tiki Invasion here at Harbor Island. Hosted by the Mamaroneck Recreation Department and LMC TV. We have fire jugglers, live music, food trucks, and much more. So let's go check out the fun.
So we just want to thank everybody, especially the Parks and Rec Department, for arranging all of this with LMC TV. This is our second event that we've done as the Tiki Invasion. Looking forward to next year when we're going to have our third annual Tiki Invasion. But it's really a great event for the community. And this year the turnout has been fantastic. Probably going to double, I think, what we had last year. So we'll just keep building and building and showing everybody how great the community is.
I think what's great about having this harbor, this beach, and this park is that the village really uses it. It doesn't just lay here. To have a fun event like a tiki event, everybody's got, you know, floral lays on. It's just a wonderful night. It's a Friday night. Weather's great. This is indeed the friendly village.
This is your beach. This is your home. Please keep coming back. We're here till Labor Day, and as long as we can keep the beach open. This is what we're all about. Bring your family, bring the kids, have a great time. Please just enjoy the night.
I imagined it like we would just sit in a bunch of chairs and watch Moana on a movie, but I never knew that there would be like a whole band, a beach, and all this fun stuff. The s'mores were my favorite parts.
The event was a hit. Come out next year to join us for the third annual Tiki Invasion. For the Local Live, I'm Marcella Milder.
There's a new program on LMC tonight at 9 p.m. It's called Dollars and Cents, produced by Larchmont investment professional Michael Feynman. I spoke with him earlier this week. I'd like to welcome Michael Feynman, Senior Vice President of Investments at Wells Fargo Advisors. Michael's been in finance for 30 years with world-class organizations like the Federal Bank Board, the United Nations, J.P. Morgan Chase, and Smith Barney. For the past 10 years, he's been at Wells Fargo Advisors, working with individual and organizational investors. You may have seen him before on a number of financial TV shows or in New York Magazine, honoring him with the 2015 Five-Star Wealth Manager Award. Michael's also the producer of Dollars and Cents, a new educational series on LMC TV, 3 seminars on the fundamentals of investing, and you can watch tonight at 9 p.m. Michael, welcome, and how did you get into this career?
Well, thank you for having me. In some ways, it found me. I had been involved with designing and building financial models. And after a while, I started to use those models to invest. And they worked, not every time, but good enough that I really went back to school and filled in the blanks in my financial background. And I've been doing that ever since.
What is it that compelled you to do a financial program for our local neighbors?
Well, good question. In my experience, with the clients I work with, it appears to me that there's really a huge gap in financial education in this country. As we say, you probably have learned more about the French Revolution in school than you did about finance. And that gap is even greater when it comes to women. Though they are just as smart as men, and they feel some of them are in financial areas as well. The average woman just isn't confident in her own ability, and to think the qualifying factor that will change that is financial education, and that's what our show's all about.
So what is it that you want the viewers to come away with after watching your series?
Well, there's so many things that affect our lives that we just have no control over. Okay, but one of the most important that you should and must really have is your financial future.
Exactly.
And so that's really what we're trying to do. We want to level the playing field so that the average individual doesn't feel lost. All it takes is a little basic education to feel confident. And then the series itself will become more complicated. But initially, we want to put everybody on the same level, so we don't know that the average viewer might have a great deal of knowledge or not enough. So we'll start out small, and then it'll build to.
And is some of this common sense? Is that how you get the title Dollars and Cents?
I'd like to think so. Yes, the answer is yes. We'll be speaking in plain English, okay? Financial terms, all of the various financial instruments that exist. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, it really is just common sense. I think one of the pet peeves I have is they've tried so hard, my colleagues, to make this sound like some financial scientific experiment.
It's almost like Latin.
Yeah, and though they do have a lot of, you can get a PhD in this field, but a lot of the ways they do it is more to sound smart themselves than it really is to benefit the client. You can talk a lot simpler than this. So we will be doing that.
Do you want to share just one financial gem that you are going to deliver in this series? And again, that's tonight at 9, Dollars and Cents. Michael Feynman is the host. One gem.
One gem, okay. The best thing I can tell you is you have to acquaint yourself with what this is all about. So I would suggest it's straightforward. Read Barron's. Don't read the Wall Street Journal. Don't read anything. There's a weekly paper called Barron's. Look through it. Start to learn. Read up on the companies that you're interested in and those that appeal to you. And then find a good advisor. Because if you try to do this yourself, you might as well try to cut your own hair or mow your own lawn. They'll grow back. But if you lose your money, it's not coming back anytime soon. And then ask that new investment advisor the questions about the things you saw in Barron's. And see how up-to-date he is. That's a very easy way to do it.
Okay, and you're going to have more financial gems delivered on Dollars and Cents. It's tonight at 9 o'clock on this very channel, 75, or on Verizon, the channel that you're watching. Michael, thank you so much for being our guest.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Local Live. You're welcome. Shy is a new addition to Pet Rescue. Her size makes her seem like a kitten, but this sweet and playful girl is 2 years old. She seems to do well with other cats and she enjoys human affection. Blue is a handsome white shepherd mix. He's only 2 years old, but this young dog is calm and playful. He'd do well in a home with other pets or children. For those Game of Thrones fans, wouldn't you want to own your own direwolf? For more information on Shy or Blue, or to learn about other pets you can adopt, please go to ny-petrescue.org. And please think about making an online donation to support the local live. It will help us purchase new set furniture. You can check out LMC TV's wish list on our website, or to make a cash donation, click on the donate button in the upper right corner. We'd really appreciate it. We always welcome new volunteers and interns, and we'd love to hear from our viewers. Send us an email to thelocallive@lmctv.org. Thank you so much for watching our show. That's all for tonight. I'm Mike Witch. See you next week for a new episode of The Local Live and a roundtable discussion on millennials living back home.